this is Aaron. Today is January 19th, 2013. I've been on testosterone for 232 days, and my chest surgery was 214 days ago. I don't have anything in particular to talk about today, really. I just thought maybe I would do an update. I'm having trouble figuring out where the camera should really be. Okay. In the last month, I've taken care of quite a few of my document changes, getting my name and gender changed on various documents. So the first thing I did was my birth certificate, which actually proved to be really, really easy to change. I was surprised. The state of Missouri, I was not expecting them to be accommodating, but I just sent them a certified copy of my court order and a letter telling them what I would like them to do. And I waited, and then I got a new birth certificate in the mail. It was easy. And the birth certificate has my new name, and it says sex male on it. And it says this birth certificate was modified by court order, but it doesn't say why. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also got my driver's license changed. I don't have my new driver's license yet. I had to apply for a variance, whereby I filled out a form saying what I wanted them to change and why. And they wanted not only a copy of my court order, but also a copy. They didn't need a certified copy of the court order, just a copy. And they also needed copies of both of the letters from my doctors saying that there had been changes. And once I got them all that, it was fine, they were nice. I put in my permanent application for renewal because it was time for that anyway. And now I'm just waiting for 4 to 6 weeks for it to come in the mail. I also got my name changed on a couple of my banks, but that's not as big a deal because they don't keep track of my gender. They just needed to know what my new name was. I feel like there's glare. Take my glasses off. I don't have a lot of transition-related changes to report, really. My face is definitely fuzzier than it was. It's not like manly fuzzy, because I certainly know women who have, fuzzy faces, and they you wouldn't notice if you weren't looking for it. But it's a lot fuzzier than it used to be. And sometimes when I look in the light, I can see the hair in these spots and in these spots and a little bit here. But it's like blonde and thin, you can't really see it. But it definitely wasn't there before. So it's definitely changing. And there's been the usual kind of ongoing slight increase in body hair on my belly and on my arms and on my legs, but nothing, no dramatic body changes. Last week and today, I met some new people for the first time, and I couldn't tell how they read me, if they read me as male or female, and I certainly didn't want to ask. But I find it interesting. I feel like I'm starting to be at a point in my transition where new people either aren't sure or they do see me as male. I'm not sure which, but it's kind of interesting that I find myself wondering about it. And I don't know. I was at synagogue today when I met these new people, and I go to synagogue every week, but this week, 2 or 3 people came up to talk to me about my transition. To thank me for my blog, and for being so open with them and talking about my changes and inviting them to ask questions. A few people slipped up and called me she and apologized, and I told them it was okay. And this one woman said, when we're all in the process of, learning to recognize you. And I thought that was a really good way to put it. What else? I have had a sinus infection or cold or something for the past week, which has also affected my voice. So I don't know if my voice right now is where my voice is at, or just where my voice is at plus cold, sinus infection, coughing, whatever. It's kind of raw and uncomfortable. But also today was significant for me because I read from the Torah for the first time since my voice started changing. I haven't read since mid-June, and I started testosterone on June 1st, so my voice hadn't changed at all in mid-June, and I had a very high soprano voice, and I've done a lot of reading from the Torah, and people have told me they like my voice. And I liked my voice, except that it didn't really feel like my voice, but it was a nice voice. So I hadn't read Torah since then, and I was kind of anxious coming up to today, even before I had my whole, sinus cold thing, and like not knowing what my voice is going to sound like or what people will hear, whether it'll break, whether I'll know like how to choose the right pitch, without I feel like I don't really know my voice right now, and it can change from day to day. I don't know what it can do or what to expect from it. So I was kind of anxious about reading Torah, and then on top of that, I've been coughing. So if my throat feels dry. So like if I talk too much, then I start coughing. So I was anxious about all that. It actually went really well. I sang very quietly, and I only coughed once, and I tried to take breaths and swallow when I could. So it went well, and I had a lot of people compliment me and tell me I did nice reading, and I had a couple people say that my voice sounds good, and one person said, well, you're definitely not a soprano anymore. I was like, yeah, I've been a soprano for a while now. So it was a good experience. I'm glad I did it. I could have done without the cold part, but my first reading on the change voice, I would say went okay. In fact, I think when I'm done with this video, I'm going to make another video where I'm just going to record myself doing that reading. I'm not sure why exactly. Maybe for my own reference, maybe so that I can see, when I read the exact same thing a year from now. What will it sound like? What will it look like? What I really wish I'd done is made a video of myself reading Torah before my voice started changing at all. Well, I don't think I did that. I don't think I have that, so I'll just have to start from here. So I think that's it for today. January 19th, 2013, and life is good.